Our gospel reading today from Mark sets up Jesus' new ministry in terms of casting out demons, healing, and preaching and teaching. Last week, Jesus was in Capernaum in a synagogue with his 4 newly appointed disciples. It was the Sabbath, and Jesus went to the synagogue to teach. He spoke with such authority that those who heard him were astounded. While Jesus taught, a man with an unclean spirit entered the synagogue. The spirit cried out to Jesus, "What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us?" The spirit continued, "I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Jesus told the spirit to be quiet and come out of the man. And the spirit did just that, convulsing the man and crying out in a loud voice. The men listening to Jesus were amazed. Not only could Jesus teach, he could exorcise a demon. In today's text, Jesus and the disciples leave the synagogue and go to the house of Simon and Andrew. There they found Simon's mother-in-law, who was in bed with a fever. When the disciples told Jesus she was ill, he took her by the hand and lifted her up. The fever immediately left her, and she began to serve them. Mark contrasts the images of Jesus exorcising a unclean spirit in the synagogue, which was a public space for men, and the healing of Simon's mother-in-law in her home, a home being a private space for women. The woman in this text today is not named. Only women that are considered important are named by Mark. This woman is identified by her relationship to Simon, his mother-in-law. Once healed, she immediately began to serve Jesus and the disciples, as would be expected of her in the first century Mediterranean hospitality. The fact that this woman is the first person Jesus heals is significant. Jesus, from the very beginning of his ministry, sides with the least of society, which is how this ordinary woman was viewed. The text ends at sunset with the whole city bringing all who were sick or possessed with demons to Jesus, and he cures many of them. The positive message we can take from the healing in this passage, along with the other cures Jesus performs in Mark, is the ideology of inclusion. Those who are healed are brought back into society. Simon's mother-in-law returns to her role as server after being healed of her illness. The people brought to Jesus to be healed returned to society after they were cured. The next morning, while it was still dark, Jesus went to a deserted place to pray. Even Jesus needed to recharge. Caregivers understand this notion of recharging. It is essential for those who take care of others to take care of themselves, or they will burn out. We've seen the news stories of healthcare providers being stretched to the max during this pandemic. Hospitals are full to capacity. Staff is working round the clock with little time to rest. We offer prayers to those who care for the sick and dying. Just as Jesus went alone into the desert to pray and rejuvenate his spirit, we too need to renew our strength in quiet times of prayer during these uncertain times. Our hope for this nation and for the world lies in the ability to vaccinate as many as possible against this virus. Hold tightly onto this hope and in God's unconditional love and mercy. Amen.